Welcome to November, my friends, and welcome back to Grace in My Space. I'm so happy to have you here. If you are not a full-time member of this community, feel free to hit that subscribe button, and I'm hoping that everything that I share is an inspiration to you and something that you enjoy and walk away with feeling a sense of peace. Today, we're going to talk a lot about thrifting finds, antique finds, and how to incorporate them into your home. But I wanted to start today's video with a little look at a really delicious apple recipe that I came up with recently. It is so good. There's nothing that says fall quite like apple recipes, and while there's always your traditional apple pie or apple crisp, why not make it a little bit more fun and really helpful for entertaining purposes? Today I am whipping up some apple tarts. Actually, an apple tart wouldn't have a crumb topping, but I can't go without the crumb. I'm also starting to do some holiday prep with some homemade gifts that I'm doing, and so I'm going to be stripping some lavender because this needs time to infuse and work its magic before I give it for a homemade, handmade holiday gift. I don't know about you, but in my area, the flowers and the landscaping this summer was absolutely incredible. And I had a huge lavender harvest from only 5 brand new plants. So I'm definitely going to be putting this to good use. Is there such thing as like a satisfying mess? I think that if there is anything like that, it's stripping lavender leaves. I got 2 pretty full mason jars full of my lavender, and I started to infuse some in this littler one because I'm going to do some roller balls as Christmas gifts. Shh! Everybody watching this that's in my family, you know nothing. But the infused roller balls, they need like 4 to 6 weeks to really make it beneficial, so gotta do it now. Now for today's video, I'm really excited. You guys know that I love antiquing. You know that I love vintage. You know that I love to recreate a space using older items, but in a modern home. That's really my style. A lot of the finishes in my home feel really modern. I use modern furniture. I use modern lighting. I use clean lines on a lot of my pieces. I really prefer a more sleek, slimmed down look than the more ornate. But I also really love antiques. And so the juxtaposition between that modern element of the architecture in my home, it's a 1970s colonial, it's not like I live in a 100-year-old house, and the charm and the character of antiques, I think that's the combination that I really just fall in love with every time. And so today, I want to show you around some of my favorite antique and thrifting finds in my home and how I've styled them in a modern 1970s space. Now, one of my absolute favorite things to do is look on Facebook Marketplace. That is where I found all of my large pieces of furniture for unbelievable prices. I got this cabinet for $100. Now, where I have spent very little money, I have spent an exorbitant amount of time and energy in creating something that looks beautiful from the pieces that I find for really affordable prices. If you missed the transformation of this cabinet, I have a whole YouTube video about what not to do when refinishing furniture. This one was a trial of patience. I almost burned it a couple of times, I gotta be honest. Erin was like, let's just get a bonfire going. But we saved it. After like a month of making big mistakes refinishing this furniture, I finally figured out how I wanted it to look. And in this home, I didn't have any wall space for it. So we created this nook, which was previously a closet, took out the closet doors, flipped the wall around, closed it on the back side, opened it on this side. And for now, it's just sitting in here. It's not even exactly how I want it. I want to center it and then build out so that it looks like a built-in. But this is a beautiful piece, $100. Lots of blood, sweat, and tears, but $100. When I originally saw it on Facebook Marketplace, it was a really lacquered red, And so I stripped it down. I will link up the video for that whole process. But what I kept was all the original hardware, and I really wanted that wood grain to shine and to lighten it quite significantly. And so I'm really happy with how it turned out. Again, it needs some work to fit into this nook and look a little bit better. But here's what I did. I don't even know what's gonna be on the inside. What's on the inside? Oh. Stuff I forgot about. I absolutely adore the beadboard in the back, and I will someday clean this up and make it presentable. But for now, it's just decor storage that's been in here since we moved. This was the original color. I left it on the inside. Yes, I got really tired and decided not to finish it. But the thing that makes this fit into a modern home is that it is very streamlined, all clean lines, not ornate in any way. And so the detail comes in the doors. They're inset, they're really beautiful, and that really nice hardware. Back in the kitchen real quick to catch up on my apple recipe. We're using Honeycrisp for this one. It's delicious. Why not? Why not use the best apple out there for a delicious tart? I'm pulling out that handmade crust, which you can or cannot do with this recipe. If you would rather use a refrigerated crust, go for it. It will save you probably a full day of work. I will say though that if you're into sourdough, this is the best, flakiest, most delicious crust you're ever gonna make. And it's really not that complicated. It just does take a little bit of time in the refrigerator to set up. Now back to my thrifting finds. Move this pillow out of the way. Another piece that I got on Facebook Marketplace for $100. It seems to be kind of a theme in my cabinet buying. Was this. It was very orange. It was like the orangest wood you've ever seen. And when I looked into stripping it to make it wood, I really didn't think it was gonna be possible. There was some veneer that were issues. And so I decided to paint it instead. Painting a cabinet that is kind of damaged is a great solution, and I love it. It has so much storage in the bottom, but up top has the beautiful glass shelves so you can display pieces. And again, in this piece, it fits into a modern home because it's not ornate. It's very sleek, but it does have really nice detailing with the trim pieces and even with the way that they have trimmed out the glass. One way to update pieces like this is just to replace the hardware, which is what I did on this cabinet. I changed the position of the hardware. It was previously not centered, and so I just brought that centered, filled in the nail holes, and then I updated it with a black because I didn't want it to pop against the paint color that I chose. However, you could really easily do some pretty gold accents for that hardware as well. Even right now, as I look at this, I know that I have to touch up some dings from our move in the paint, but I think I might replace the hardware soon. Hi. You can see me in the reflection. Updating hardware is so cheap, so affordable, and really easy to do. Even though our staircase is an absolute disaster from construction, and I just tried to strip it and then I got tired and so I stopped. I love this piece that's in our entryway. The painting, number one, is gorgeous, but this furniture piece was an antique hunt find. I love it. I think I paid $250 for this one, which was really high for what I would normally pay, but I just thought that it was absolutely stunning. I love the wood detail, and I really, really loved the top. This just adds so much character to a space and is really easy to incorporate into a lot of different home styles. Now, if you followed me for any length of time, you know that charcoals and sketches and drawings and etchings are a collection that I cherish and love. There's my beautiful railing once again. And I love creating a gallery wall out of all of these similar styles. It really fits into a modern home because I've kept it very neutral, including not having very ornate frames. A lot of them are just black and sleek and straight. And then every now and then I do toss in an actual antique frame to give it a little bit more character. Now here in the kitchen, I designed it kind of traditional, I would call it. I did some modern sleek lines with the cabinetry and with our slab front drawers, but I really just wanted it to be timeless and classic. And then all of my thrifting finds got brought into it and mixed in with more modern pieces like our lighting. I have all kinds of vintage pieces just sitting on the counter, including this basket that I found at an antique store for just a few bucks. It holds my onions. I love adding really textural pieces like this and bringing in some of those older elements. And I've done the same with really practical things like using an antique crock that I got for just a couple of bucks at a thrift store to hold all of my cooking utensils. And then over here is where I love to display my antique collections, as well as just some beautiful artwork, some pottery, and some faux flowers. Every single item that you see on these shelves is an antique, or at least it is vintage, except for the Keurig. And I love how bringing those kinds of elements into a more modern and traditional style kitchen really cozies it up and makes it feel very character-filled and charming. So I'm going to link this recipe in the description for you for all of your upcoming hosting opportunities, or if you just want an afternoon snack. Now in our basement, I have a very big mix of modern and antiques. This table was a Facebook Marketplace find for, I believe I paid $75 for it years and years ago. I've refinished this table at least 3 times, and it's been a staple in our home for years and years and years. I love how unique these kinds of thrifted pieces are. Some of them are from antique stores, some of them are just garage sale finds. And when you mix antiques with more clean lined sofas and furniture, then it really allows you to mix and match styles very easily. Even on this open shelving, I have a huge mixture of antiques, antique painting, antique books, antique horses, mixed in with modern frames, clean lined storage baskets, and even family photo books. One element that does tie it all together is this rug, which is brand new but could be an antique. I love how many rugs you can find these days that have an antique feel to them, but they are brand new, clean, cushy, and really beautiful colors. I do love when I score smaller pieces of furniture that are antiques or thrifted pieces. This noodle bench adds so much character, and it's really slim so it can fit just about anywhere. And then this stool is so adorable. It's from an old manufacturing company. It has the exposed nails, push pins, it even has old paint on it. I really love the amount of character that brings. In addition to pieces like this extremely old antique basket that would have been kind of like somebody's suitcase as they came across on a boat. Maybe they were immigrating, maybe they were just traveling, but these types of trunks would have been used to store their belongings. This is my #1 all-time favorite ever Facebook Marketplace find. It cost me $50. I almost felt bad taking it. I actually said to the guy, "Are you sure that you only want $50 for this?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's just been in my garage for like 20 years. I was like, "Oh my gosh. Look at her. Isn't she beautiful?" It's like my own Narnia cabinet, except I store cleaning supplies in it. Now this is in our mudroom, and what I've done is simple IKEA built-ins, which I have a whole tutorial on if you are interested. And then I paired it with a very ornate looking piece for my home. But I really love that they work very well together, and they make a lot of sense for our families for storage purposes. This piece I did nothing to except cleaned it. It was very musty, kind of mousy. And so I did a really good baking soda vinegar scrub, dried it in the sun for a long time, and then brought it in, and now it stores our cleaning supplies and adds so much character to this room. Now in areas like this, I really like that the fireplace is original. It's a 70s fireplace. It's a little funky. It's got the offset nook for wood, which it's not a wood burning fireplace anymore, so it's useless for that fact, but I do use it to store my favorite wood bowl collection. They're all antiques. It's one of my favorites. Pop them in there. And I could also just fill it up with wood if I wanted the aesthetics of it. But in a spot like this, I've just mixed in modern chairs. They're actually very modern and brand new and have really modern trends to them with the braided arms. I've added simple tables that are actually brand new but have a little bit of an old style look to them. And then everything else, all of the smaller decor is a really great mixture. Thrifted finds, antique finds, Amazon finds, garage sale finds, Hobby Lobby. I mean, you can literally probably find something in this little area from all of those different places. And that is what makes a modern home be able to really work with antiques, is the constant meshing and mixture of them in every area of your home. My living room is a great example of that. All of the furniture in that entire room is brand new except for the black cabinet. And so you can see how the pieces work really well together. If you're new to my channel, we just finished this living room addition this year, and we're so happy to just be able to enjoy this space. I'll link up more details of the living room in the description. Now, as you can see, a lot of the pieces that I have found on Facebook Marketplace or thrifting are large furniture pieces, but there's just as many small little pieces of decor that I bring out for tablescapes or that I can use when I'm serving guests with serving platters and with cute little drink glasses and all of the smaller items that are going to be so fun to use for the upcoming holiday hosting season. So while I am still all in for fall, I'm also gonna be all in for Christmas and holidays really soon. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed it. You can like and subscribe, that'd be great. And I'll see you next week.